Okay, welcome to another edition of Real Estate Investor Talk. And sitting here with me is John Rabie, and John Rabie is the chairman of Rabie Property Holdings. He's a property developer, a very successful one. We just had a great chat interviewing John, and I think it's really some fantastic stories that come out of here. So, John, tell us just a little bit about your story and your vision of your company and how you've sort of started. I know without going into too much detail, just give us a little bit of a runabout about some of your achievements, because really you're a leader and a visionary in this business.
Oh, thanks, Neale. We started in 1978, and we started in the construction business, coming from a construction background. But the love and the feel for property was very much part of the basis of getting into the real estate industry. And so we thought that construction and building would be the pre-runner to eventually putting out the products that we do today in the form of residential developments, commercial and retail developments. So I think also with having the construction background, it assisted us in understanding the numbers better and the probabilities and the returns, etc. So yeah, that was the start, and it then spanned over 35 years, culminating, or let's say starting with the concept of plot and plan and show houses in the late 70s and early 80s, the growth of the housing market in the apartheid days, where lots of subsidies were available, and to first-time home buyers, captured that market, then through to the democracy, the unbanning of the ANC, 89, 90, massive opportunity. We understood the public-private sector part of it, and went straight into the heart of working with government with very superb projects, or quite famous projects, I should say, like the Makeni Beam development.
Yes. Tell us a little bit more about that, because that was quite a breakthrough, I think, certainly from an affordable housing perspective.
Yeah, well, Makeni Beam, we always saw being involved at that stage in quite a bit of affordable housing, that the impoverished community or the disadvantaged community were actually the key to getting real mixed-use urban developments underway, where if we could rehouse the communities that were living in shacks into formal housing, we could have cross-subsidize that through the use of the balance of the state land on those properties to create very vibrant mixed-use projects where you have commercial, residential, retail all working together, which is working against at that stage the old apartheid regime's philosophy of planning to the new urban democracy, where we can work, live and play in one spot. In other words, people that work in your factories or work in the shopping centers can actually live and walk to work. That was the concept, and with great success at Makeni Beam, which is just right opposite Century City, which is our flagship development, was 6 billion rand development, rehousing of poor community of 2,500 units, and today a thriving mixed-use project.
Expand a little bit on that Century City, because that is an incredible development. Tell us.
Century City, I think, evolved. We had acquired attractive land from Nedbank at the time, who were the owners who'd taken it over from Monex, and we weren't quite sure, because Century City sat with Canal Walk, it was the biggest shopping centre in Africa, and approximately the entire Century City of 1.3 million square meters of bulk, but the residential market hadn't been tested, and that's where I saw the gap, and we saw the gap in Rabie, together with my partners, Leon Cohen, my partner of 35 years, that we would try or launch a residential development right opposite the shopping centre, just with the canal being filling the gap. And that was right at the start of the boom, this great boom we had in 2003, and from there evolved acquiring Century City from Nedbank, the rights, and today we are probably 75% through, and it's got a critical mass, and it's an ongoing, thriving, mixed-use city that's been evolved, and a very exciting one, and with all the major commercial guys all there your big major tenants, your shopping centres pumping, and of course the residential all working together to create this urban space.
Great. And now, John, you seem to have found a new sort of excitement. You've launched now your new brand. Tell us a little bit about Signatura and what actually made you move into Signatura.
Yeah, I think it got to a stage where I decided that this stage of my career, with it coming to, I suppose, the latter part, that I would want to form or create my own private label. And that was really the thinking behind it. Obviously, being a major shareholder in Rabie with Leon, was to move into something where Rabie wasn't active in, and the idea, the concept came from the renewal, the re-urbanization of the inner part of Cape Town, being Sea Point, Green Point, Frederick, and areas which need renewal, and taking existing buildings and modifying them, or using the rights that they have in place to densify, which is in line with the city's policy of re-energizing the city, but also creating more economic development in these areas. So it's economic activity to foster or bolster demand for the city, and that's where I'm focused on, and busy with our 8th or 9th project now. And basically what we're doing is building these projects and finishing them, and we have my philosophy is behind the triangle, with the 3 aspects of the triangle being the topping architecture and decoration, interior decoration and landscaping, and coupled with that, value. So creating value products in the inner city, finishing and completing them, and showing the prospective purchasers what we can do. So it's excellence, absolute excellence in all aspects, and specifically in quality, and that's working great.
Fantastic. John, in closing, share us a little bit about inspiration from your side in terms of your achievement, because you're very much a person, you've got your feet both on the ground, and I think you're very humble about your achievements that you have done. Don't you want to just share a little bit about your personal philosophy of life and property development, and because you are a leader, you're a visionary, you're a leader in the business, but you're very humble about it.
Thank you. Well, I've tried to, through this period, keep my feet on the ground. It's a very turbulent industry to be in property. It's multifaceted. It's got lots of things that affect it. So through the cycles, and there are cycles, and the ups and the downs, is a consistency of caution, but at the same time, timing. And if you can get that right, I think then you've got the basis for a good business. And as saying to you previously, property is not a 2020 game. It's a 5-day game. And over time you create, your vision is created over time. So it's not a quick in and out type of the way we've seen it. So we've created value in our projects. We've created a brand where people come back to buy from us or let from us, and we consistently are very proud of what we've done, and we continue with that excellence in the brand to be able to grow our businesses, and we've been able to do that. And then also our relationships with institutions is one of whereby we know that we are able to understand what the markets are and in what time or stage of the cycle the markets are, for us to really have a go at it. But it's all about being pragmatic and offering value for money in good areas, and at the same time the consumer or the purchaser or whoever's acquiring or investor is getting value for money. So and we stand by that. So we stand by our name, we stand by our brand, and we stand by the value.
Great. So John, just in closing then, I think what is the future for John Rabie and your business? Maybe you just want to give us a little taste of that.
Well, we continue to develop at Century City. It's a city of 1.3 million square meters of bulk. We're about 80% through, 75 to 80% through, and that critical mass. It's fantastic to see it evolving, well run by a fantastic management team, and we can see now with the growth and I was just saying earlier on that it's a puzzle, and it's all the bits and the piece of the puzzle fitting together. So yeah, that gives us great joy and great pleasure watching it, and lots of hard work for the management team, and then for myself with Signatura, continuing to focus in these selected and niche markets,
And also outside of Cape Town.
and then outside of Cape Town, looking over time, we'll see how the markets improve. We're still in a tough property market. It's five years since 2007, but we are seeing a stability in the marketplace now, and there is buying power for niche products which we're in, and I'm very optimistic about the way going forward.
Great stuff. John, I just want to thank you for the opportunity of having a chat with you, and it's really been inspiring, and I've certainly learnt a lot, and I'm sure our investors out there have also picked up a lot from it. So thank you once again for the opportunity.
Thank you.
And all the best for the way forward.
Thanks, Neale.
Thank you.
Thank you.